Alright, so we are back at the B275 today because it decided to rain. You probably can't tell. It looks like a sunshiny day on the video, but I can tell it rained all day. So I put this project aside for a little while to do some other things. The header cart and other videos you've seen if you watched them, making the header cart. But we're getting ready. I already got 3 of these bolts out for the fan. It's actually a 1/2 inch, like the head size, a 1/2 inch, which was crazy because this is a metric tractor. Everything on it's metric. So I found the one standard set of bolts on. But anyways, I'm going to set you down here and you can see me get this fan off. There we go. That's a little better, isn't it? Yeah, it was kind of a pain because you have to go in between the radiator and the fan, which I can't even fit my finger in between the blade there. But it's all by feel because there's no seeing in there, that's for sure. Well, being that I took the other 3 off like a week ago, maybe I forgot the angle of the dangle, I can tell you that much. Okay, we got her now. We got her. Yeah, and you gotta use the wrench and hold the fan with your other hand. Maybe. It moved. Oh, it's a pain. That is a pain to get to. Okay, now the other 3 came out. This is the last one. The other 3 came out. Once I got them loose, I could just thread them out by hand. It feels like this one's going to be the same way. Now you probably can't see down in there very well. Okay, I think I've got it loose enough. Yeah, and you can see the bolt is on the front. You can just barely see it in the center of the screen there. But yeah, it's in there. Alright, so now after some two-handed finagling, I've got all 4 of my bolts out. So let's see how easy this thing pops off, and if I'm either going to have enough clearance. I really don't want to take the radiator out. Yeah, you're watching as much as, same time I am because, okay, it did move there. Spin it and go around. Oh, okay. Well, that being said, I doubt I'm going to be able to get it out. I was kind of hoping I would be able to, yeah, about that. Oh, it's just more of my luck, right? It's okay. I'm not going to force it because of what it is. One thing I might do, since I'm already missing a convenient screw here, I might take these 2 out and maybe see if I can pull this away and pull this shroud away and see if I can get it out like that. So I got the fan out. It's this guy here. I would always check these for straightness. This one looks pretty straight. I mean, I've already spun and inspected it and looked at it. It looks okay. I'll obviously clean up the surface where the bolts go back on, where it'll be on the new water pump. That way, it does run true and doesn't wobble. Wear your pump out. What I had to do here is because these were flathead screws. I got this one out. This one was missing. Yeah, that one got ground off. It was a bolt, but then I basically just was able to get me a little window to pull that fan out, and that worked good. Freed up a lot of room in the front. Go around on the other side. And I've got my alternator loose and this belt loose. Now, this one here, this outer sheave, I said in a previous video, is supposed to loosen. I'm not even going to try to do that. I'm just going to unbolt the pump, and as it comes forward, take the belt off. Then I can take my part numbers to Bain Walker, my local Case IH store, and get some new belts for it, because these ones, they're really not terrible. I mean, there's some feathering, but they're not cracked a whole bunch. And I guess that one does have a fray, but either way, you're doing something like this, you want to replace them. So, and believe it or not, these things are standard too. But even my head bolts were metric, which was crazy, and my oil pan bolts. But yeah, they're coming out pretty easy. Won't be too bad as long as they're not a foot long. We'll find out that here in a few minutes. Sorry for the poor camera angle here. I was lucky enough to have all of the studs actually come out, because I'm worried about, will I have enough. Once I realized it was studs, I was worried like, oh man, am I going to have enough room to slide it forward? So we're about to find out. All but one stud came out, so I'm assuming, well, that's usually easier said than done. Well, I was assuming that this thing would want to pop off of here. Maybe with a little guidance from a pry bar we can get it to. There it went. I guess that gasket was good. We're about to find out. Really don't want to have to cut this belt. It's just hanging on that one stud. Let's see, maybe. Oh goodness, we're up against it. Let's try pushing on the radiator. And just well then, if I could get the belt off, we'd be in business. Alright, the belt's off. So, without too much damage to the radiator or the fins. Get this thing out of our way. We can try to figure out the best path for removal. Looks like I might have to take the alternator off. I do think that that's going to be the best path. Alright, set that back in there. Oh, wait a second. I should try taking it out this way. And maybe. Yep, well, that's the inside of a water pump. I think I'm going to have to take the alternator off. Well, instead of taking it all the way off, I just took the bottom bracket loose to where I can, and pushed it down, and I'm swiveling the alternator up so I can make me a path. I know you're not going to be able to hear the bearing on video, but I did spin it, and it's not terrible, but it's definitely making some noise. I don't know if anybody here has, or watching this, has ever looked at water pumps and what a weep hole is. Weep holes are if the inside shaft on this thing, you know, where it comes through, if that goes bad and starts leaking, that comes out the weep hole to tell you need a water pump. But this thing has a weep galley. I have no idea. I've never seen a weep hole that big. It's huge, and you can see it's wet in there where it was leaking. And maybe the fact that it's that big like that is why, you know, just from the dust and debris getting in there, why that seal went out. I can't tell you. But, yeah, let's see what the fins look like. The water pump itself actually doesn't look that bad. There's no contact marks on the inside, you know, like where that goes. But it was definitely leaking, so it's getting replaced. Matter of fact, let's check out the new one and see if it has a big crack like that. If it does, I'm not going to be happy with it, but hey, this one probably lasted the 50 or 60 years of the age of this tractor, so maybe I can't complain. And sure enough, it looks very similar, doesn't it? Big old crack. There is a difference in that front bearing, so I can actually see it, and you can't on this one. You can't get in there to see that on this one. It's deeper, meaning the snout actually goes farther. But let's double check the length here. Well, the camera's making the one close to me look way longer, but that's just how it is. It looks like it's the right pump. I'm going to get a tape measure on it and double check, because if I go out any further, my fan would be hitting the radiator, but I think we're in business.